Mm-hmm.
What are your chances of becoming a compulsive gambler? If you believe a report published in the Oklahoman in 2009 by Tony Thornton, your chances of becoming a compulsive gambler double if you live within 50 miles of a casino. Online and Las Vegas-style casining have recently become a large part of the social culture of Oklahoma, along with the rest of the United States. In fact, Omer Gilman, a staff writer for the Tulsa World, reported in February of 2012 that in Oklahoma alone, the number of casinos with Las Vegas-style gambling has grown from 63 to 92 since 2006. Perhaps this sudden growth of casino gambling is what prompted Representative James P. Moran of Virginia to introduce House Bill 2334, the Comprehensive Problem Gambling Act of 2011. This act seeks to amend the Public Health Service Act, requiring the administrator of the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration to establish and implement programs for the prevention, treatment, and research of problem gambling, to launch a national campaign to increase awareness and knowledge of problem gambling, and to establish and implement a national program of research for problem gambling. Research over this bill brought me to the following opinions. We need to understand exactly what compulsive gambling is. We need to understand the negative and positive effects of gambling. And we need to oppose the Comprehensive Problem Gambling Act of 2011. The Mental Health Assessment published an article in 2006 by Mary Ann Bryan describing the Pathways model, which identifies 3 determinants of problem gamblers. Normal pathological gamblers develop this habit because of opportunity, with anxiety, depression, and substance abuse an occasional consequence of this learned behavior. Psychologically predisposed gamblers enter this activity with a psychological need, deficits in coping abilities, and sometimes with a traumatic history. Biologically predisposed gamblers sometimes have a neurological or neurochemical deficit caused by illness, injury, or substance abuse. In 2007, in the Casino Enterprise Management magazine, an article by Mary Houck, she interviewed Dr. Mike Smith, who was the founder of the Oklahoma Association for Problem Gamblers, who defined problem gamblers as people whose gambling has damaged or compromised their personal, family, or professional vocational pursuits. Many refer to the South Oaks gambling screening to identify disordered gambling. This test screens for people who spend more time or money than they intended in gambling, argue with family members over gambling debts, or have borrowed from various sources for gambling. Now that we have identified problem gambling, let's look at the social aspects and effects of gambling. Since the boom of Indian casinos is fairly recent, most are unaware of the impact of them. Many problem gamblers have had emotional and financial problems due to gambling. Jeffrey Resner in Time magazine in 2005 interviewed Dr. Keith White, the executive director of the National Council of Problem Gamblers. He said that 10 million U.S. adults meet the criteria for problem gamblers, and that kids are hit even harder. Many problem gamblers have lost their homes and families, and many problem gamblers have committed crimes to pay their gambling debts. While most sympathize with the victims of problem gamblers, most of the effects of gambling, most of the financial effects of gambling have been positive. The Tulsa World reported the Indian gaming industry report shows in 2009 that Oklahoma's gaming revenue was $3.1 billion, with $442 million in additional non-gaming revenue. A significant portion of this is allotted for education. This chart shows the revenue in dollars to Oklahoma from casinos from 2004 to 2009, which were from 2.2 billion to 3.5 billion. Casinos and hotels in gambling have also provided thousands of jobs and many career paths. The effects on gambling can be mixed, but problems of compulsive gamblers are not solved by this act. This bill, which was referred to the House Subcommittee on Health on June 24, 2011, fails to address many of the problems inherent to problem gamblers. For instance, internet gambling, which is rising every day, is not addressed at all. Casino Enterprise Management reports 35 states already have nonprofit organizations affiliated with the National Council on Problem Gambling. There is also an unwillingness on the part of compulsive gamblers to seek help at all. The Oklahoman reports that the current number of Gamblers Anonymous meetings suggests that a microscopic portion of problem and compulsive gamblers are seeking help. Debate over whether these programs change the behaviors of problem gambling are also existing. A 2008 article titled Cognitive Rigidity in Compulsive Gamblers by Charlotte Weber and published by the Medical News Today suggests that gambling addicts don't learn from their mistakes. They claim that this could be caused by mental rigidity that leads to harmful behavior. While there may be a need for government programs for compulsive gamblers, this bill isn't it. Let's oppose the Comprehensive Gambling Act of 2011.